Okay, let me start with something today that will immediately narrow your coaching lens with precision. Have you noticed how many of your clients don't actually lack motivation, but they still can't act cleanly? They're busy, they're intense, they have a lot going on. Or on the other hand, they want things. They understand what matters, but can't seem to initiate or follow through no matter how much meaning you add. And both of those patterns get mislabeled and miscoached constantly. The first one gets called drive, the other one gets called resistance. And in reality, both are signs of energetic incoherence. And if you don't know how to see it, you'll coach right past the real problem. All right, before we go further, the way that energy moves through your system will be shaped by your nervous system and embodiment pattern. And we call this the skins. There are 4 primary ways that the nervous system organizes under pressure. Some bodies resist and brace, the warrior. Some yield and adapt, the shapeshifter. Some widen and sense, the asset. And some narrow and orient, and that's the sage. These are not personality labels, they're somatic response strategies, and they shape how you handle conflict, leadership, visibility, intimacy, all the moments that matter. So knowing your skin, it won't give you a limiting label or another category to fit into. It will reveal how your nervous system responds to pressure and energy and where your strengths and blind spots tend to live. So pause the video, go down into the description and take the free 2-minute Somatic Skins Quiz. Then come back with your initial description, and everything that I'm going to share next on Energetic Coherence will land in a more personal way for you. Okay, so Energetic Coherence isn't about calm or personality or being excited and inspired. It's about whether a nervous system can regulate charge accurately, whether it can generate the right amount of activation for what's actually happening and then shift when the moment changes. When this coherence breaks, the system doesn't become weak, it becomes distorted, like funhouse mirror. Most energetic breakdowns show up in one of 2 ways: too much charge or not enough. So let's talk about the one that gets mistaken for strength: overactivation, passion. Overactivation is what happens when the nervous system produces more voltage than the body can contain. There's plenty of energy. The problem is that it doesn't have anywhere stable to go. And at first glance, this doesn't look like a breakdown. It looks like urgency, intensity, aliveness, being switched on. But if you look closer, the breath rises, the limbs can't quite settle. Speech speeds up without intention, thoughts race ahead of the moment, sloppy mistakes happen, attention scatters while trying harder to focus. This isn't clarity. It's the system running hotter than its architecture can regulate. Psychologically, overactivation shows up as impatience, reactivity, impulsivity, decision-making, and difficulty staying with discomfort without escalating. So challenges become a stimulus, and every stimulus becomes pressure. Eventually, you'll hear phrases like, "Oh, I just have a lot going on," or "I'm just built this way. I'm fine. I just need to move." And movement does help briefly, because it discharges some of the excess. But the system keeps leaking energy faster than it can organize it. And so here's where coaching often misfires. We try to relax the system, and relaxation feels intolerable. Drop the charge too fast, and the system falls into collapse, which is exactly what it's been outrunning. So the nervous system resists slowing down. It resists stillness, it resists quiet, not because it's addicted to intensity or chaos, but because it hasn't learned how to contain it yet. What resolves overactivation isn't relaxation. It's teaching the system that intensity can exist without overflowing everywhere. Think of it like grounding through structure, lengthening breath pathways instead of forcing calm. Deliberate pace, slow reps, slow transitions, slow attention. So the energy learns how to move intensity through form instead of spilling all over it. Now let's flip to the other side. Underactivation. This one gets misunderstood even more. Underactivation isn't laziness and it isn't apathy. It isn't a lack of ambition. It's a nervous system that cannot generate enough charge to meet the demands of the moment. People in this pattern often describe life as feeling underwater. Everything takes effort. Turning intention into action feels delayed or distant. There's a sense of waiting to respond, but not really being able to mobilize. Breath is flat or shallow. The spine subtly rounds, and the system prefers low stimulation because anything with higher stimulation overwhelms it quickly. Psychologically, it shows up as procrastination, low confidence, disengagement, even pessimism. But those are surface effects. At the core, the system simply doesn't have enough voltage to initiate, stabilize, or sustain action. So they're dull to their desire, or their motivation drops. And even positive experiences feel muted. And you'll hear things like, I know what I need to do, I just can't get myself to do it. I feel disconnected. I want to want things, but I don't. And here's the trap. We try to inspire, but inspiration demands energy that the system cannot yet produce. So it feels abstract, distant, heady, and even shaming. Underactivation resolves through controlled activation, structure that allows charge to build safely, load that wakes the system up without overwhelming it, breath pressure that increases voltage gradually, tempo that teaches the nervous system how to sustain activation instead of spiking or shutting down. As capacity increases, initiative returns on its own. Action becomes possible again, not because the person tried harder, but because the system finally has enough energy to work with. Here's the takeaway that makes this diagnostic. Overactivation and underactivation aren't emotional styles. They are energetic states interacting with structure. If you mistake overactivation for motivation, you reinforce volatility. If you mistake underactivation for resistance, you push a system that's already depleted. Energetic coherence is about accuracy, charge that matches the moment. And once you can see that, coaching stops being about fixing behavior and it starts being about regulating capacity. If you want, next we'll take this lens into the attentional coherence breakdown in the following video, where distraction and hyperfocus stop being mental problems and they start becoming readable somatic signals. But before that, if you, like us, totally love this stuff and you want to go deeper, there are 2 ways to do so with us. So first, you can check out our core curriculum in our books, The Somatic Skins and Becoming the Grand Formidable, where we go into all of the details around this, and I'll link both of those in the description below. Or you can train with us directly by applying for a season of the Prestige, and you can experience the power of this work for yourself. Depending on when you're watching this, we are rolling out the new season soon, so now is the time for us to connect. If you have made it this far with me, thank you so much. Please do consider liking and subscribing, and let me know in the comments below what's landing for you. We can continue the chat there. Until next time.